Our journey began with an 11-hour flight from Los Angeles to London. As our taxi drove us from the airport through London to our hotel, we admired the variety of the English architectural styles of the buildings. This morning we traveled on the Underground to the National Galleries and Trafalgar Square, exiting at Charing Cross. Trafalgar Square in front of the National Galleries honors Admiral Horatio Nelson, who had defeated Napoleon's navy at Trafalgar in 1805. This decisive victory saved England from an imminent invasion by Napoleon's French army. Admiral Nelson's statue stands at the top of a 170-foot-tall Corinthian column with statues of crouching lions around the base. National Galleries exhibits art from the medieval and early Renaissance starting in 1260 CE to the French Impressionists ending in the early 20th century. We enjoyed walking through this great museum. Large halls and its glass dome ceilings gave us a feeling of grandeur. I selected a few outstanding paintings for you to see. This museum includes the art of Italian artists Bellini, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, Caravaggio, Tintoretto, Dutch artists Rembrandt, Vermeer, Rubens, Van Gogh, Spanish artists Velázquez and Sorolla, English artists Turner, Constable, French artists Monet, Manet, Renoir, Cézanne, Degas, and Delaroche, and many more. We walked through Covent Gardens with its live entertainment, restaurants, pubs, shops, and stalls. Our next stop was the Somerset House. The Somerset House, with its government offices, is famous for its fountains and art galleries. It had a giant Sleeping Beauty in a glass case in its courtyard on display. What an unusual piece of artwork. The artist even made her chest rise and drop as she slept. We continued our walk, stopping at Neal's Yard, a vibrant and cheerful, colorful courtyard with restaurants and shops. The Hello Kitty shop reminded us of years ago when we bought Hello Kitty things for our kids. We walked by the Seven Dials, a landmark where 7 streets converge. Originally erected in 1690 to elevate the area socioeconomically, it was removed in 1773 to disperse the undesirables who congregated here. After the area's pubs and shops were refurbished, a replica of the Seven Dials monument was erected in 1988. We walked by the Lyceum Theatre on Wellington Street and the West End Theatre District dating back to 1765. We walked by the Royal Ballet and Opera House built in 1858. Turned onto Drury Lane and past the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, owned by Andrew Lloyd Webber's LW Theatres. It is known as the oldest continuously operating theater site in the world, dating back to 1663. It hosts major musical productions. From the movie Shrek, it is also rumored that Fairyland characters live on Drury Lane.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man!
You're a monster!
I'm not the monster here, you are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me!
I've tried to be fair to you creatures. Now my patience has reached its end. Tell me, or I'll...
No, not the buttons! Not my gumdrop buttons!
All right then, who's hiding them?
Okay, I'll tell you. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Well, she's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man!
She's married to the Muffin Man. My lord!
Never found the Muffin Man or his wife or the Fairyland characters on Drury Lane, but we did find the Dickens Museum on 48 Doughty Street. Located in a prim Georgian townhouse, the Charles Dickens Museum is a tribute to the 19th century literary giant. This four-story townhouse was the actual home of Charles and Catherine Dickens and his children. Wandering through the museum, you see handwritten letters, first editions, furnishings, personal effects, paintings, including the unfinished painting of Charles Dickens' Dream, where he sits at his desk, surrounded by fictional characters. The rooms are restored to their original 1830s vibe, complete with Dickens' own furniture, including his famous writing desk, the very one he used during his famous public readings. Dickens moved here in 1837, freshly married, and riding high from the success of his first two books. Within these walls, he wrote Oliver Twist and Nicholas Nickleby. In his novels, he explored themes of social class, identity, love, and the true meaning of being a gentleman, as in his novel Great Expectations. In other novels, he is a critic of the mistreatment of children and social injustice in Nicholas Nickleby and Oliver Twist. Several of his novels have been made into movies, including Great Expectations, Tale of Two Cities, and Oliver Twist. Following scenes are from the musical Oliver, based on the novel Oliver Twist.
Is it worth the waiting for? If we live till 84, all we ever get is fruit. Only a fruit, hot sausage and mustard. While we're in the mood, cold jelly and custard. Peas, pudding and saveloys. What next is the question? Rich gentlemen having boys, indigestion. Turn away this day, fried Brazil glorious food. Don't care what it looks like. Want something that rude. Don't care what it looks like. Just thinking of growing fat. Our senses are reeling. Please, sir, I want some more.
What?
Please, sir, I want some more.
More? Snatch him! Hold him! Scour him! Pound him! Round him! Pick him up and bounce him! Oliver, never before has a boy wanted more. Oliver, won't ask for more when he knows what's in store. There's a dark, thin, winding stairway without any banister, which will throw him down. Oliver, what will he do when he's turned black and blue? He will rule the day. Somebody name him Oliver. Oliver, won't ask for more when he knows what's in store. There's a long, thin, winding stairway without any banister, which will throw him down and feed him for cockroaches served in a canister. Oliver, what heavens pray will the governor say? They will lay the blame on the one who named him Oliver.
We left Charles Dickens' home, and our next stop was St. Paul's Cathedral with its magnificent dome. In front of the front entrance stands a statue of Queen Anne, the last Stuart monarch, commemorating the completion of the rebuilding of the cathedral during her reign, which ended in 1714. The famous architect Christopher Wren was asked to build a new cathedral after the Great Fire of 1666. Turned the medieval cathedral built in 1087 to ashes. His cathedral included a triple-stacked dome, the second largest cathedral dome in the world after St. Peter's in Rome. Besides being famous for its iconic dome dominating the London skyline, it is famous as a national symbol of resilience, surviving the German Blitz during World War II, as well as hosting major royal events such as Prince Charles and Diana's wedding and Queen Elizabeth II's Golden Jubilee. As we walked around, we were impressed by the immense size and the beauty of this Baroque cathedral. High altar with its winding columns was most impressive. In this magnificent Baroque cathedral, we found the resting place of many British military heroes. Major General Charles George Gordon died in Khartoum in the Sudan in 1883, fighting the Mahdi forces. Also buried here is Lieutenant General Sir John Moore, who fought in the American Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars, and died in 1809 in the Battle of Corunna in Spain against the French forces. He was responsible for establishing the British Light Infantry, which was immortalized by Lord Tennyson in his poem, The Charge of the Light Brigade. Lieutenant General Sir Ralph Abercrombie led a successful campaign to retake Egypt from the Napoleonic French after he seized the French Sugar Islands in the West Indies. He died in 1801 during the Egyptian campaign. We continued walking. Here's someone you may know something about. General Charles Marquis Cornwallis served as the major British general during the American Revolution and the Governor General of Bengal in India. General Cornwallis's British Army surrendered to the American forces led by General George Washington, with the French fleet in the harbor at Yorktown, to end the fighting of the American Revolution on October 19, 1781. He died in 1805. Major General Sir Edward Pakenham and Major General Samuel Gibbs died on January 8, 1815, in the Battle of New Orleans against the American forces led by General Andrew Jackson. Both were brilliant military men who rose through the ranks to the top rapidly. This British painter, William Turner, who lived from 1775 to 1851, was an English romantic painter, printmaker, and watercolorist known for painting with expressive colors, imaginative landscapes, and turbulent seas. Through our gate of death we pass to our joyful resurrection. Christopher Wren emphasized the theme of resurrection throughout the cathedral, over doorways and in the glass crystal ceiling mosaics. Christian theme of resurrection of Jesus fit well with the theme of resurrection of the cathedral from ashes in 1666. I started my walk up the winding stairway, 257 steps, up 98.5 feet to the Whispering Gallery. climbed another 119 steps up, or 174 feet, to reach the stone gallery for views of London. From here you can see the skyline of modern London and one of the two old steeples on St. Paul's Cathedral. It is where the old meets the new. Looking down, you see Paternoster Square with a column commemorating the Great Fire of London in 1666 and the fire from the Blitz in 1940. I climbed another 152 narrow steps to the third level of the dome, the Golden Gallery, up another 105 feet for a total of 279 feet above ground level. What a great view of London, where you could see the two bell towers on top of St. Paul's, the Thames River, the Eye, Tate Modern Museum, Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, and the Millennium Bridge. After enjoying the view above, I walked down the narrow stairways without railings in some parts all the way down to the crypt below ground level. Here I found famous British painters Joshua Reynolds and William Turner's gravestones. I next visited Admiral Horatio Nelson's tomb. Admiral Horatio Nelson lost his life leading the British Navy to a decisive victory over the combined French and Spanish fleets in the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805, which prevented Napoleon's army from invading England. The Duke of Wellington's tomb honors the British commander whose army defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 to end the Napoleonic Wars. Wellington also served as Prime Minister of England twice. The size of his tomb is an expression of the British people's thankfulness for his leadership in a critical time in their nation's history. The Florence Nightingale Memorial honors the founder of modern nursing, who managed and trained nurses who were caring for the wounded during the Crimean War of 1853 to 1856. Christopher Wren, who lived 90 years, dying in 1723, is known as one of England's most acclaimed architects, having rebuilt 52 churches after the Great Fire of London in 1666, with St. Paul's Cathedral regarded as his masterpiece. He was an Oxford-trained astronomer, mathematician, physicist, as well as a renowned architect. He started the Royal Academy, and his scientific works were highly regarded by Isaac Newton and Blaise Pascal. On his tomb, his epitaph, written in Latin, translates to, "Reader, if you seek his monument, look around you," was written by his son. The epitaph directs visitors to see St. Paul's Cathedral as Christopher Wren's lasting monument. After leaving the iconic St. Paul's Cathedral, we went to see a play called Fawlty Towers in the West End of London. Fawlty Towers was such a successful TV comedy series in the 1970s that they brought it back as a play. There are a few scenes in the play which we saw reenacted that I found on YouTube from the old TV series with Basil and Manuel.
Good day. Hello. How are you?
Number 16.
C16, but no eat.
What?
16 is free, but not possible.
Is this number 16?
No, this lobby. 16 upstairs on right.
Who's in charge here?
No, charge later after sleep.
Where's the boss?
Boss is. Oh, I boss.
No. Where's the real boss?
Okay.
The Generalissimo.
Madrid. How are you, sir? You see, I speak English well. I learn it from a book. Hello. I am English. Hello. How are you, sir? I can speak English. Hello, Major. How are you today? I'm fine, thank you. It's a beautiful day today.
Is it? Oh, yes, I suppose it is.
Yes, I can speak English. I learned it from a book.
Did you? Did you really?
Well, there is too much butter on those trays. There is too much butter on those trays.
No, senor.
What?
Not on those trays. No, sir. Uno, dos, tres.
No. I'm mucho burro Ali.
Okay?
I'm mucho burro Ali.
Ah, mantequilla.
What?
Okay? Mantequilla. Burro is burro.
Manuel, por favor, momento.
Sí.
Nothing, dear, I'm just dealing with it.
He speak good, how you say?
English.
Mantequilla. Solamente dos.
Dos.
Well, don't look at me. You're the one who's supposed to be able to speak it.
Those 2 pieces. 2 each. Arriba.
I don't know why you wanted to hire him, Basil.
Because he's cheap and keen to learn, dear, and in this day and age.
But why did you say you could speak the language?
I learned classical Spanish, not the strange dialect he seems to have picked up.
Next day, we were on a bus to the Warner Brothers studio tour, The Making of Harry Potter, in Leavesden in Watford, 20 miles northwest of London. The English are crazy about Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling is a literary hero to the British, having published 7 Harry Potter books, which is the best-selling series in history. The Warner Brothers Studios London released 8 Harry Potter films between 2001 and 2011, using many of England's finest artists. On this amazing tour, we saw sets and props from the film and how the studio filmed scenes. Harry Potter, in the center, was the orphaned hero in J.K. Rowling's books, who as a baby survived the attack by evil Lord Voldemort, who killed Harry's parents. Before attending Hogwarts, he lived with his aunt and uncle, the Dursleys, for 17 years, who abused, neglected, and emotionally mistreated him. At Hogwarts, he finds a supportive family and avenges the murder of his parents through the use of magic. Harry was a skilled wizard, known for his talent in defense against the dark arts. Due to the Horcrux inside him, Harry could sometimes feel Voldemort's, the Dark Lord's, emotions and see into his mind. Ron Weasley, on the left, was Harry's loyal, brave, but insecure best friend. Hermione Granger, on the right, is Harry's brilliant, loyal, and magically skilled friend, who helps him defeat Lord Voldemort. She eventually marries Ron Weasley and becomes the Minister of Magic. Hermione Granger was played by Emma Watson. The educators at Hogwarts were led by Headmaster Albus Dumbledore with his long white beard, who prepared Harry for Harry's showdown with Lord Voldemort. Professor Minerva McGonagall, on the left, was the Professor of Transfiguration and Deputy Headmistress of Hogwarts, who helped Harry feel welcome at Hogwarts and protected him. She was played by Maggie Smith. He is Hagrid, with his dark beard in the center, and as Hogwarts gamekeeper and keeper of the keys and grounds, was Harry's protector, father figure, and mentor, who introduced Harry to the magical creatures he cared for. Snape's, on the right with his long black hair, was Professor of Potions. While he served as a double agent for Dumbledore against evil Lord Voldemort and protected Harry because of his unrequited love for Harry's mother Lily, he was cold, hostile, and bullying to Harry, driven by his resentment to James, Harry's father, who married Lily. The villains were led by Lord Voldemort, the Dark Wizard. He attended Hogwarts as Tom Riddle, who went to the dark side. Lord Voldemort killed Harry's parents. Voldemort's supporters include Lucius Malfoy, a Death Eater, on the left, and his son, who opposed Harry, Draco Malfoy, on the right. Before I forget, the music score was written by my favorite living composer, John Williams. The music is playing in the background. First entered a large auditorium with paintings of the heroes, the villains, The school, Hogwarts, and the professors on the walls surrounding us, and a model of a huge dragon hanging from the ceiling. Walked to the end of the auditorium and waited with anticipation for the gold-colored doors to open. Surrounding walls were covered with statues of English knights. The doors opened and we entered the grand dining hall of Hogwarts. As we walked through the hall, we saw the uniforms the students wore, representing the four houses of Hogwarts: Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, and Hufflepuff. At the head of the hall stood mannequins dressed in the costumes of the faculty of Hogwarts, including Rubeus Hagrid, Professor Severus Snape, Headmaster Albus Dumbledore, Professor Minerva McGonagall, and Professor Alastar Mad-Eye Moody with his fake eye. The first major prop appears in the prefect's bathroom, where Harry deciphers a clue to help him prepare for the next task in the Triwizard Tournament. This enormous bathtub is fed by dozens of taps, streaming red, blue, and yellow water. Another prop was the great clock used in the movie Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Harry and Hermione use the time turner to go back in time to save Sirius Black and Buckbeak. Mirror of Arise appears in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It is the ancient ornate object which reveals the deepest, most desperate desire of the heart to anyone who looks into it. The inscription on it translates to mean, "I show not your face, but your heart's desire." Harry was able to see his dead parents through its magic. The artists at Warner Brothers London made the paintings on the walls come alive. The portraits in each of Harry Potter's films play an important role because the portraits hold history and continuity. For example, Dumbledore dies, but he still exists in his portrait. The portrait interacts with the viewers. You can have a conversation with them. Portraits serve as a guardian of a common room, or they hold secrets, or they serve as a link to the outside world. One of the artists, named Alfonso, came up with the idea that some characters, such as the witch, could move from portrait to portrait. The characters in the portraits are dynamic and react to the pandemonium on the stairs. Portraits use visual effects. The portraits were actually of the artists themselves, placed in period costumes and settings taken from historical paintings. By using living people, they could move in the portraits and react to the viewer. Crew members Stuart Craig, Barry Wilkinson, Chris Columbus, David Heyman and his family, David Barron and his dog Sam all had portraits painted and were in the moving portraits. We visited the office of Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, supreme mugwump of the International Confederation of Wizards, chief warlock of the Wizengamot, and the founder and leader of the Order of the Phoenix to fight Lord Voldemort. Albus Dumbledore's office is in 3 turrets at the top of Hogwarts and contains many magical objects, including the Pensieve, Fawkes the Phoenix, a collection of curious silver instruments, and the enchanted sorting hat and a memory cabinet. The studio created his office in a medieval Gothic style to add an air of mystery and awe. The walls were decorated with portraits of past headmasters and a private library from floor to ceiling. Pensieve is a stone bowl used to store and review memories. Out of the fog, images of the past appear. Voldemort killed Harry Potter's mother and father. Dumbledore used it to give Harry Potter private lessons to reveal the history of Voldemort, the Dark Wizard, his Horcruxes, and his descent into darkness, allowing Harry to understand the enemy and find Horcruxes needed to defeat him. A Horcrux is an object containing a piece of Voldemort, the Dark Wizard's soul. It is created through murder. Horcruxes are considered the most evil form of dark magic because as long as the Horcrux remains intact, the creator cannot die, despite his body being destroyed. Harry had a Horcrux within himself. Severus Snape's potion classroom set contains 950 potion jars lining the walls. The classroom is magical. Snape has it in for Harry and asks him a series of questions.
What would I get if I added powdered root of asphodel to an infusion of wormwood? You don't know? Well, let's try again. Where, Mr. Potter, would you look if I asked you to find me a beetle? And what is the difference between monkshood and wolfbane?
The scene of Harry Potter being lifted up by Ron and Hermione takes place on the set of the Gryffindor house after Harry scored the winning shot in the Quidditch match for Gryffindor. The participants from the four houses fly on broomsticks, trying to score the quaffle through the hoop and catching the golden snitch. Gryffindor won the coveted House Cup after Harry caught the snitch. How does the studio create the scenes with the characters flying on broomsticks? The Warner Brothers Studios film the actors on rigs in front of the green screens, blending live-action shots with digital environments from computer-generated imagery to create seamless, realistic flight sequences.
The bludgers are up, followed by the golden snitch. Remember, the snitch is worth 150 points. The seeker who catches the snitch ends the game. The quaffle is released, and the game begins! Angelina Johnson scores! 10 points for Gryffindor! receives 150 points for catching the snitch.
Gryffindor wins!
The Making of Harry Potter tour had many more enjoyable, beautiful props and sets, and we recommend seeing it the next time you're in London. Our last destination was Buckingham Palace. In the summer months, Buckingham Palace opens its doors to the public to see the interior, but no photos were allowed. These photos are from the official souvenir book. Many of the rooms had 30-foot high ceilings covered with gold. The walls, the floors, the ceilings, the furniture, and the paintings exuded excellence. Palace clearly made a statement of dignified power designed to impress. The royal family no longer rules Great Britain, but they do have a stabilizing influence on the government. I walked to the back of the palace and met King Charles and Queen Camilla. Just joking. But their large portraits looked really nice, and our photo with the portrait of the royal family looked good. The palace's back lawn was huge, approximately 40 acres, with woods and a large pond behind it. After we ate lunch under the canopied restaurant adjacent to the back of the palace, we walked around this well-groomed landscape, back of the palace to the gift shop, and then to the exit. This concludes our wonderful stay in London. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed visiting London. The next morning we traveled to Southampton to catch our ship to cruise in the Mediterranean Sea.